In today's video, we're going to talk about hair porosity. We're going to discuss what hair porosity is, the various different types of hair porosity, the different types of tests that are out there to determine what your hair porosity is, and to also learn why it's important to know what your hair porosity is. So let's get started. Hey, I'm Christina Michelle, and if you're new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button. So, hair porosity. Hair porosity is a fairly new term for me. I recently came across this term, so I didn't know what it was and why it was so important to know what your hair porosity is. So I had to do some research to figure this out. So if you're like me and you're unsure as to what hair porosity is, well, hair porosity is how your hair absorbs and retain moisture. And all of this is based upon your hair cuticles. There are various different types of hair porosity. There's low porosity, there's normal porosity, and there's high porosity. With low porosity hair, the cuticles are still tight. So they are this tight, like praying hands tight. So when the hair cuticles are this tight, that means that the water is not easily being absorbed. So when it's not being absorbed, then the water is being repelled. Also, with low porosity hair, it takes longer for the hair to get saturated with water when it's being washed, and it takes longer for the hair to dry as well. With low porosity hair, one will also notice that hair products are not easily absorbed as well. So as a result, there is product buildup. If this sounds like you, then you may have low porosity hair. With normal porosity hair, the hair cuticles are flat. So with this, water is easily able to absorb and retain. Products are easily able to absorb and be retained into the hair cuticles. So your hair is normal. If this sounds like you, then you may have normal porosity hair. High porosity hair, the hair cuticles are open. They are busted wide open. So they're open like this. So when the hair cuticles are open like this, yes, your hair is easily able to absorb water. But the downside is, with the cuticles being open, is that the water or the moisture is easily able to escape as well. So as a result, you have to use more product to seal in the moisture. So those with high porosity hair may have heat damage, may have chemical damage due to perms, due to relaxer, due to color treatment as well. So if this sounds like you may have high porosity hair. So there are two popular tests that are out there that people utilize to determine what their hair porosity is. The first popular test is called the float test. So what you need for the float test is a cup, room temperature water, and a couple clean strands of hair. So what I mean by clean, I mean by freshly washed hair. That means no shampoo, no conditioner, no oil, no grease, nothing. So clean hair. So obviously what you do is you get a cup, you pour that room temperature water inside the cup, and then you place a couple of those clean strand of hair inside the cup of water, and you let that sit for about 5 to 15 minutes. After the 5-15 minutes, you go back and you make an observation. So you're observing the placement of the hair strand within the cup. So if your hair is floating at the top of the cup, they're saying that means that you have low porosity hair. If your hair strand has sunk to the bottom of the cup, they're saying that means you have high porosity hair. And if your hair is just floating in the middle of the cup, then they're saying that you have normal porosity hair. The other popular test that people are utilizing to figure out what their hair porosity is called the strand test. So what that is fairly simple. So you just grab a strand of your hair. So once you grab a strand of hair, you're then gonna rub your strand of hair from the end to the root, right? And what you're trying to do, you're trying to feel the texture of your strand of hair. So what they're saying is that if it feels smooth, that means you have low porosity hair. But if it feels rough, that means you have high porosity hair. But check this out. I did the float test, and again, I got my cup, my room temperature water, a couple of strands of clean hair, put it in that cup. I actually let my strand of hair sit for a good hour. Went, did an observation, and my hair was floating. And according to the test, it says that I have low porosity hair. And I was kind of shocked because based upon the description I provided you all at the beginning of what low porosity hair is, what normal porosity hair is, and what high porosity hair is, based upon those descriptions, I fall under normal. Like, I never have an issue with my hair absorbing water when I'm washing it. It never takes a long time for my hair to dry, and I never have issue with product buildup either. So I was very shocked that the cup test said that I had low porosity hair. So I had to do some research. Yes, I researched to figure out whether or not the float test was legitimate. And based upon my research, it's not. So don't grab that cup, do not grab that water, and do not grab a couple strands of clean hair to do this float test. According to my research, they said that the float test is not scientifically proven. And there are a couple of reasons why the float test does not work. The first factor is density. So density is the mass or the weight of an object. So the float test cannot be a good determining factor of our hair porosity because our hair has various different types of density. One strand might weigh one and another strand might weigh another. So we cannot do the float test based upon density. Another factor is surface tension. Surface tension is what causes an object that's denser than water to float. Let's take a paper clip, for example. So you have a cup of water and you put the paper clip in the cup of water and you observe that the paper clip is floating. So we know that a paper clip is denser than water, so it should sink instead of floating. But because of surface tension, it's causing the paper clip to float. So based upon density and based upon surface tension, we know that the float test is not legitimate and it's not scientifically proven to determine your hair porosity. Also, that strand test that I just did, the finger test, that's also cannot determine one hair porosity because apparently our fingertips are not sensitive enough to feel our hair cuticles. So you might just have to get a microscope to look under to see what your hair cuticles look like. So how can we determine what our hair porosity is? Easy, simple, by utilizing the definition of low, normal, and high porosity that I provided in the beginning. So ask yourself the question, does it take long for my hair to saturate with water when I wash it? Does it take long for my hair to dry? If you answer yes, then you may have low porosity hair. What about my hair is able to absorb moisture, but I have to use a lot of product to lock in the moisture? Then you may have high porosity hair. If you're still unsure as to what your hair porosity is, in the description box, I left a link where you can go to and take a hair porosity quiz. Once you do that, come on back and comment below as to what your hair porosity is. Is it low? Is it normal? Or is it high? So why is it important to know what your hair porosity is? It's important so you know what products to use and how to treat your hair. So for example, if you have high porosity hair, you already know based upon this video that your hair cuticles are open, so we know that your hair is able to absorb the water, but it's not able to retain the moisture. So based upon that, you have to use deep conditioner and you have to use oil to seal in the moisture. Also, with low porosity hair, based upon this video, we know that the hair cuticles are sealed tight. So we have to open up those hair cuticles. And to do that, you can use a steamer treatment. Use a steamer treatment to open up your hair cuticles. We also know with low porosity hair that the hair is repelling the water, so it's not easily able to absorb the water. So try to find some products that has glycerin in it. Glycerin helps attract water. So if you have low porosity hair, you want to use steamer treatment and you want to find products with glycerin in it. If this video was helpful for you and you feel like you got something from it, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share the experience. Thanks for watching. Bye.